Thank you to our sponsor, Every Plate. Every Plate delivers dependable, affordable, and delicious recipes right to your door.
Yes, join Every Plate today and pay only $2.99 per meal on your first box for all box sizes. Get this amazing deal with code PRETEND299 at everyplate.com/pretend299. That's code PRETEND299 at everyplate.com/pretend299. And here's the show. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Pretend Problems Podcast. I'm Kelsey Cook.
And I'm Martin Lawrence.
Oh,
I watched Bad Boys.
Of Bad Boys.
I watched Bad Boys on the plane, and he made me laugh out loud several times.
God, I wish I would have gotten video of it because
He's so funny.
it was early in the morning and a lot of people were sleeping and you were just having the time of your life.
Yeah, we went to bed at, I went to bed at like 1:30. Mm-hmm. Didn't get a ton of sleep. We had to wake up at 4:30 to go to the airport. Flight was at 6. Yeah. I couldn't sleep, so I threw on that movie and laughed quite a bit.
Yeah. And I feel like I also watched that movie because it is, I don't know if anybody else feels this way. It's almost impossible for me if the person next to me on the flight has a movie or a show going on their screen. I start watching it. It's like a silent movie for me. Mm-hmm. So I basically watched the new Bad Boys without having any audio.
Yeah, there's a lot going on. A lot you need to know with the audio.
Yeah,
they give you a lot of clues of what's happening by talking.
It was mostly like a children's book version of a movie for me. It was just pictures and.
Mm-hmm. Well, good. Still very entertaining.
Yeah, absolutely. It was mostly entertaining watching you laugh so much. But
I loved it.
We took that clip from last episode about how we feel regarding pooping on planes and reclining your seat on planes. And we put it online and we took a poll. And I mean, the comments were what surprised me. I thought it was going to be an overwhelming amount of people that were against it. But actually, it was 55% of people agreed with us, 45% disagreed. And the people who disagreed strongly.
Really disagreed?
Really disagreed.
You know, I've had some people on planes, like I reclined my seat once, mm-hmm. and the guy behind me was bouncing his knees into my seat on purpose.
Yeah.
And so I had to turn around and be like, yo, man, can you stop doing that? And he goes, well, why don't you put your seat up like everyone else has their seat up? And I go, no. And then he would bounce his knees, and then I would bring my seat up, and then I would slam it back.
You'd WWE slam
several
it back.
times when we got our meals, anytime a drink was dropped off. I went back pretty hard.
Oh my God.
Because, well, I'm going to say it, fuck that guy.
Well, that's what's interesting to me is like a flight attendant commented and she said, as a flight attendant, let me just say they would not make that a feature on planes if you weren't allowed to do it or weren't supposed to do it.
How am I supposed to sleep when my waist is at an acute angle? Like I'm leaning forward and I'm supposed to sleep and not fucking faceplant into my screen? No.
Well, a lot of the comments were people who were taller. And I do have sympathy for you. I'm sorry. I don't know what that's like. Go ahead, Chad.
Oh, no. I didn't want to go and interrupt you. I was letting you know I have something to say as well.
Oh, okay. I got you. God, when you do that. It drives me crazy because anybody who sees somebody violently put their hand up is going to go, oh, okay. Nobody's going to just keep talking.
That's true. But sometimes when you're talking, I don't know when to jump in. I get blamed for interrupting you. Okay. I feel like I need your conversations to be set up like a karaoke screen where it's like 16 measure break. She might be thinking. And so I just sit there and I wait for it and I watch it counting down on the screen. Otherwise, sometimes you'll take a break. Like there's no punctuation mark for what you're doing. A period isn't long enough. An ellipses, not long enough. And you'll sit there and then I'll go, well, what I was thinking, you're like, I'm not done. I'm thinking. It's like, okay, all right.
But not on the podcast, right?
But there are times where I have something that I would love to say and I don't want to forget it. So I put my hand up as a place marker, mostly for myself.
Okay.
And now I've already forgotten what I was going to say because of this bullshit.
Welcome to Pretend Problems. Maybe this will jog your memory. I was saying, I don't know what it's like to be 6'4", 6'5", with legs jammed up against the seat in front of you and then have somebody's seat also come back. I'm curious. I'm not trying to be a dick. Have you also thought of reclining your seat. Maybe give you a little more this way. Does that not make any difference? Because we're talking about your lower half, your legs are still jammed up. I don't know. But I was like, you know what? Okay, that's a good point for those that are tall. I hear you.
Now, my point that I did remember is that if you do have long legs, it takes you less steps to fucking walk to where you're going. So walk there. Or reserve the bulkhead. If you have long legs, bulkhead, the first seat on the plane.
Yeah.
Because then the wall can't. If the wall reclines, it's because you've hit the earth and no one fucking cares about your legs anymore. So, I don't know. It's like, you're tall. You have a lot of advantages in life. Suck my dick on the airplane. How about that? Well, you're mad there's nothing to reach, so you can talk shit about it?
That's a funny point.
Well, there are so many advantages, right? You don't need all the extensions on your roof rake when there's snow up there. Yeah. I mean, let me count the ways.
Yeah.
And now your knees hurt because someone needs to sleep. By the way, I'm fired up today.
Yeah, I can tell.
Yeah.
I can tell you're spicy. I'm a little afraid, actually. But
not even in a bad mood, just fired up to be alive.
Oh, great. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I will add, I don't recline just to recline. I only recline when I want to sleep, which isn't like all the time. But if it is, we did that 6 a.m. flight. I was like, I'm going to try to sleep. And I popped it back a little bit, and you did have something to say about
Well, you popped it back before 10,000 feet. Now, from what I understand, airplane etiquette is, I mean, if they didn't want you to recline, they wouldn't make them reclining. I stand by that.
Yeah.
But I also think you're not supposed to recline until you reach your cruising altitude, or not even cruising altitude, but you have to reach 10,000 feet.
Yeah.
Because I think maybe when you're going through the clouds, there's more of a chance of turbulence, and they don't want people
like everybody collectively
hitting their teeth.
Yeah.
Whatever. And I think that's why you're supposed to have it up when you land as well, in case they have to hit the brakes. So you don't like jam your head on the top of the seat as it's like aimed towards you.
Yeah.
But, yeah, when you leaned back, I thought it was very interesting because I knew we had put that clip out. Uh-huh. And I was like, oh, you're an early recliner. This changes everything.
Listen, I don't get on the plane and recline it. Some people just are wild cards. They'll sit down and throw it back before it's even in the air. I don't do that. We had been in the air for a while, and the 10,000 feet beep did come on, like, I would say within seconds.
As we were having the conversation.
Conversation. So I was like, you know what? I think it's okay by now. But I also, and this is an old Jerry Seinfeld bit, I think. Is that 2 inches back? Is that making a world of difference in terms of safety? I don't know.
I think it is, because if they hit the brakes, then the seat is at a point where you could like hit your face on the top of the seat.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Sure. Now, again, it all comes down to whatever. Yeah. I will say, if someone reclines, it's interesting because I'm a rule follower in some situations, right? I don't recline till 10,000 feet. And if someone reclines when we're just sitting on the tarmac, I'll tap them on the head and I'll be like, nope.
You will?
Wrap it up. Absolutely. I'll tap them right on their top of their head that I can now see. It's exposed to me because they're reclined. So I'll tap them. I'll tap them finger pad first. If nothing happens, then I'll knock. Like I'm knocking on a door. Like that. And then they go, hello? And I go, can't recline yet. And that has nothing to do with it. It's like people are still trying to get in and out of the seats. When someone sits down and the person on my inside isn't there yet, you can't, that's like lowering the drawbridge.
Right.
You can't do that.
That is crazy. You're right. So you had shows. We went to Spokane this weekend, which was very fun. Chad had shows at Spokane Comedy Club. I had the weekend off, so I went to get to hang out, see my family, see best friends. And you let me do some guest spots, which was very kind and generous of you.
First Friday night. First of all, thanks to everyone that came. It was so fun. I heard a lot of amazing things in the merch line. Yeah. Some that made me laugh very hard. Some that almost made me start crying. A lot of just a lot of cool stuff. And Spokane is always great because people will drive from like Montana, or they'll drive from Sandpoint, Idaho.
Yeah.
Or they will drive from all sorts of places. They'll drive from the Seattle side of the state. Blah, blah, blah. Fantastic shows. I was doing, trying to do all new stuff. So that was interesting. And the crowds gave me a lot of rope. And I thought that was absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, you
a
fucking
long
crushed.
leash, a lot of rope might be something else. Anyways.
It was amazing.
Well, Friday night, this guy Mike goes up.
Yeah.
Fantastic job.
Yeah.
Then he goes, you guys have no idea what's happening during the show. Then he brings you up. Mm-hmm. Then he brings Dan Cummins up. Mm-hmm. Then he brings Bill Squire up. Bill was scheduled to be there, but Bill's so fucking funny.
Yeah.
And then I got to go up. And at that point, it was great for me because I felt no pressure. Because I thought to myself, I didn't say this, but I'm like, you guys already got your money's worth. So, nice. I could really crash and burn up here and not worry about it too much. But I had a ton of fun. And I'm very excited for people to see your new hour.
Thank you.
Yep.
It's been fun for us to both be working on new hours at the same time. And this was the first time that I have done guest spots on your touring shows. You've offered them in the past. I've said no. And
that's just very funny. You've offered before, not interested.
I think those times I felt like a little more nervous for some reason. I also maybe felt a little more burnt out. Like I just wanted to relax and
absolutely,
and just enjoy the show.
Yep, I get that.
But this was special because it's Spokane, which is my hometown, and we were able to hire a van service to transport my mom to the shows. And so she got to watch me perform. She got to watch you perform. Mm-hmm. You got to like sit and hold her hand while I was on stage. And that really warmed my heart that you two got to have that experience together. And I have to tell you, I haven't told you this yet. I thought I'd save it for the podcast. So with dementia, you can ask my mom a question, get one answer, ask her the same question 30 seconds later, maybe get a completely different answer, on and on and on, right? And so while she's at the show, she's like lit up, she's smiling. I'm asking her like, are you having fun? And she's like, yes. You're asking her if she's having fun. Yes. Like seemingly having a really, really great time. And it was, to coordinate something like this is a bit of an ordeal, right? There's just a lot of moving parts, making sure that everything's okay, making sure she's going to be taken care of, gotten back safely, all this stuff. So at the end of the night, I'm wheeling her back out to the van and I go, this was so great, Mom. I'm so glad I could have you out here. Did you have a good time? And she goes, not really. And I was like, fuck. It was just so funny. Like we got to the finish line of this crazy day of making this happen, of coordinating this.
It's very funny.
And it's like, I just want to hear that it was worth it.
Yeah.
Not really.
Well, she laughed a lot when you were on stage and she seemed to be having a lot of fun. You have some pictures that were taken that are fantastic. She's all smiles, bright eyes. I think she told you not really as like a way to goat you into doing more. To go, well, if you haven't had fun yet, let's go get ice cream or something.
Yep, just negging me.
Yeah.
Mom negging. Yeah. What was I going to say? I don't remember. I lost it. But anyway, it was so fantastic to have her there. And I do think she really had such a great time. And it was fun to do the jokes I have about you before you went on stage.
Yeah.
And then have you come up and just bring the fucking thunder and roast the shit out of me. Because I think that's a fun experience.
Roast you? Did I roast you?
A little bit with like my walking joke.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I did.
Look at that little shit-eating grin. Oh, did you roast you? Oh, no, yeah. You actually said like one of the meanest things you could say about me.
Did I roast you? I thought I just went up there and fucking owned Spokane.
Yeah. But we did that show together like a year ago now. Notebook Rebuttal, where we stood on stage together and told jokes about one another and then got a chance to like refute what the other side.
Yeah, tell our side.
Give our side, yeah. But it was fun to kind of do it back to back, and yep.
It was great.
It was really fun. So thanks for having me.
Very, very fun. And then Dan Cummins is, he lives close to Spokane, went to Gonzaga.
Nice pronunciation.
Thank you, Gonzaga. And then, we've been friends for so long. I mean, so fucking long we have been friends. And we have a very similar fan base. And there are times where when we're working on our hours, I'll call him or he'll call me and we're like, what are you working on? And it's basically looking at our set list when the other person's talking. It's like, fuck. Well, this isn't good. What are you saying about it? We got to stop having these conversations. But he came up and, murdered the whole show, man, from start to finish.
It was great.
Yeah, Mike killed. He came over from Tacoma. Bill Squire in from Cleveland, who, has his own career. He's not an opener, but sometimes he just comes on the road to hang out and workshop some stuff. And he always brings the heat. He's so good at stand-up. Yeah,
those shows were ridiculous. They were really fun. Yeah. So, yeah. And then you golfed this morning.
I got up this morning at 6:20.
How are you doing? You're going on like no sleep lately.
To go golf. Well, yeah, that's true because you took a nap yesterday. I stayed up and watched football.
Yeah.
I had my other podcast that I had to do, and then that had me fucking wired. Here's how my morning started. I get up, everything's great, right? I have my coffee, I'm excited to golf, right? Yeah. I told you I went to the range, figured out some stuff, and I actually did because close to the cabin, there's a par 3 golf course where you don't get to use your driver.
Yeah.
That's what gets everyone in trouble. You don't get to use your driver. You have to actually worry about the approach shots with your irons. And I know no one wants to hear, but this is not a sports podcast. But I worked on some distances from 130 to 90 yards.
Okay.
And I know exactly how far I have to bring it back. And I know exactly like everything I have to do now. And other than because I hadn't been working on my driver on 2 par 5s, I overswung and put the ball in the water. So I got an 8 on 1 par 5 and a 7 on 1 par 5. But I shot a 78 today. So just 6 over par.
Fuck yeah.
So if you take those 5, I only had 1 more over par because I had 3 bogeys and 2 birdies.
Crushing
so I'm feeling fucking great. But on the way down there, I put it in the Maps, the Maps app, and it says closed opens at 9 a.m. So I go, oh no, maybe the person that made the thing is used to summer hours and now it's September, so it doesn't open till 9 because of frost. So I call down there. And he goes, hello. And I go, oh, I was just making sure you were open. And he goes, yeah, this is a golf course, like real attitude-y.
Ew.
And I go, well, let me tell you something about your golf course. Says it doesn't open till 9 o'clock on Maps. And he goes, well, it's a golf course. And I go, I understand that, but it's also September. I go, we going to do this before I get there? Or you want to wait till I get there?
Oh shit! What did he say to that?
Nothing. He goes. No. I just, I just got here. I'm putting stuff in the computer. I'm putting stuff away. And so when you call with that question, I didn't know what was going on. And I'm like, hey man, I'm not mad at you.
Yeah.
I'm saying maybe we should get rid of this thing online.
Yeah.
And then my Maps brought me to a maintenance road where all of the like vehicles that take care of the golf course are.
Yeah.
So I still had 8 minutes to go after. I was on the wrong side of the golf course. Yeah. So what I really need to do is talk to Maps.
Maps has some issues sometimes. Fuck, what was I going to say? Sorry, I'm a little spacey today.
Well, you asked me one question and you think it's going to take 10 seconds and it takes me 45 minutes to answer it. But I'm jacked up about this new distance stuff.
Well, I'm very happy for you.
Yeah. And I'm telling you, it's like the ball's checking on the green. It's going as far as I want it to, and then it's stopping within 3 yards.
Amazing.
It's pretty good stuff.
Well, that's great.
Thank you.
I remembered what I was going to say. This is just we're both like, I had something to say and I forget. That's just what it's going to be today. That's fine.
Yeah.
I just posted a clip today. So if you're watching this, it was 2 days ago, about how when you and I, am I about to talk about poop? Yeah, I am. Welcome to the show.
I thought we were going to go 3 shows without it.
I just have to say one quick thing. I posted a clip where we were on the road this weekend in Spokane, and we were in the hotel room, and Chad, I don't believe we've shared this on the podcast before. If you and I are sharing a hotel room, we're in a confined space, and you need to poop, you have a go-to poop song to try to drown out the sound of whatever's happening in there.
Sure.
And your go-to is Celebration by Kool and the Gang.
Yeah.
And so I put a clip online of me telling the camera what was going on, because you could just hear Celebration blasting.
Yeah.
And that it's also kind of given you like a Pavlovian response. If I just play Celebration randomly, that you're kind of like, your butthole just loosens a little bit.
Yeah, that's true.
We've gotten some very funny comments of people saying like that should be the song that like we walk down the aisle to at our wedding, or like all these different times that would be
it sure
very, very funny. I mean, that's a great song. But then you came on the camera and you explained why it is, and you should share why you play that song.
Well, because I think it's very funny, because when he says party, it sounds like he's saying potty. So he goes, there's a party going on right here, a celebration to last throughout the year. And I just think it's great.
Yeah.
We're going to celebrate your potty with you. It's like I'm a 2-year-old in there shitting on Cheerios to make sure I hit the toilet. I mean, it's fantastic. Dropping bombs on your moms.
I'm sorry, shitting on Cheerios, is that a real thing?
Peeing on Cheerios is more a real thing for when you're potty training little boys, you put something that will float in the toilet so they have something to aim at. Otherwise, they're just like, what are we going to do later? And you have to get a new shower curtain because they're little tiny kids with the piss pressure of a goddamn fresh hose.
These are things I don't know as a non-parent.
Yeah. So you have to make sure that they are focused on something. Otherwise, everything's getting pissed on.
It's just a state fair game in the bathroom.
Yes.
Piss through the ring.
Absolutely. That's what I've always said. That's why guys are better at that. When guys are sitting, we're not better at most things, but when we're sitting down and we have to shoot a squirt gun into a clown mouth to make the balloon pop.
Yeah.
Fucking best of luck to you.
Sniper.
Yeah.
Did you ever, first of all, did you have a Chuck E. Cheese here in Minnesota?
I mean, who do you think you are? How do you think Washington is this amazing fucking place?
Okay, I mean more, Poe, if
Broseph.
you fuck up the audio. Okay. So now that I say it, well, I'm sure you didn't have one in Fergus Falls.
That's true.
Fergus Falls wouldn't have been big enough.
You could
Did you
always
have
ask me
one
about that.
in the cities that you would bring your kids to?
There's a Chuck E. Cheese. I don't know that I would purposely bring them.
Okay.
If there was something, I mean, I'd bring my kids on the road with me sometimes.
Sure.
And if there was something like that, we'd always do it.
Okay.
But, I don't need an arcade to be mixed with pizza. Here's the thing that a lot of people don't know about me. I'll go get pizza and then I'll go to an actual arcade.
Oh, okay, great.
I don't need them to be in the same building.
You'll bring it to it.
I'm going to go eat a decent pizza.
Yeah.
Then we're going to take some time. We're going to get in the car. We're going to let it settle. And then we're going to go play some actual games that don't give you tickets in exchange for nothing.
For cotton candy.
For for Smarties.
For a unicorn swirl lollipop. I'm speaking to like a very specific age range here. If you were around my age going to Chuck E. Cheese as a kid, goddamn. The pizza, not great. The breadsticks with ranch, I mean, I'm going to put it in my top 5 breadsticks. They were unbelievable.
Of course you are, mayo sandwich.
They were so fucking good. If you had Chuck E. Cheese breadsticks, please comment on this episode on YouTube and tell me I'm not wrong.
If you're of any age at all, please comment and let us know if you know what a unicorn lollipop is. Everyone does.
Oh, okay. Well, I didn't know that was like
my grandma used to spank me with those. Everyone knows what that. What do you mean a certain age? Like I'm going to be like, what do you mean? There's a lollipop for unicorns? I can't hear you.
You're almost a decade and a half older than me. Sometimes I will ask you things and you'll be like, Of course I didn't have that when I was a kid. Like, it was so obvious that that was so not around. And then other times I will go ahead and assume it wasn't around, and you're like, yeah, how old do you think I am? So I don't know. I don't know what was going on with unicorn horn lollipops when you were young.
Well, because here's the thing. You go, hey, did you have Wi-Fi when you were a kid? And it's like, no, look up when that started. And then you'll go, hey, tell me about the Crusades. And I'm like, I wasn't born yet. You have to look at the years.
I'm not great with history.
I know, but that's a pretty big fucking window. How old do you think I am? 6,000? Please.
Oh, my stomach. Ouch. I said all this. I brought up Chuck E. Cheese because there was a very specific game where Barbie and Ken were on jet skis, and you had to squirt gun the little nipple and move them up or down. And I was pretty fucking good at that for not having a dick. So that was the whole reason I said all of that. I have very vivid memories of that game, and I was pretty good.
Pretty good for not having a dick.
And I am getting better at history things. The New York Times has put out like a weekly year scramble thing where they give you 10 events and you have to put them in chronological order. I'm getting pretty fucking good.
How come that? Are you unbelievable? You didn't tell me about this game. And so now, nope. And I know what's happening. You're practicing. And then one day you're going to be like, maybe we should try this. I'm going to be up 2 events for the belt. Nope. And you're going to go, maybe we should try this game I just found. Nope. Oh my God, you just gave away your position.
I could never use that for our thing because it's only once a week.
Yeah, but gave away your position.
No.
That's World War II. When was that? Was I alive or not? Yes or no? World War II.
No. Hear what I just said. It's once a week. I couldn't. But you would like it, I do think.
I bet I would too.
That's pretty fun.
We played you found a trivia game yesterday.
Yeah, it's called
timed trivia game.
It's called Tightrope.
What happened?
I don't want to talk about it. Oh. What happened with Nerdle? Did I win Nerdle?
You did win Nerdle, but I'm at the end of Bad Boys. It's the crescendo. Granted, she's watching it silently, so she doesn't maybe know that. But it's the big finale. By the way, I don't like Bad Boys. I want to be very clear about this. For the action or the writing or whatever. I think Martin Lawrence is so funny. And that's just all that I like about it. But it's coming to the end, and then she's like mouthing words to me. Here's what I do. And here's how old I am, if you must know. I put in wired headphones, right?
From the plane, the free plane ones.
Yep. And then I put noise canceling over the ear headphones on. That way, I have found that if I don't do it that way, I have to have the volume up higher. And I'm not looking to destroy my hearing.
Yeah.
So here, I can have it way down, almost off.
Yeah.
If I need to.
Yeah.
And so that is why I do that. But anyways, so you're mouthing the stuff, and I take and I still can't hear you because of the white noise of the plane, and you are a soft talker. What you like to do is when someone goes, what? You don't go up a level of volume. You just start the sentence louder. First letter.
First letter only.
And then everything else is back to normal. But you wanted to play this game with me.
Yeah.
Right when the action was happening. You saw an explosion on the screen. I bet it's done. Want to play? Want to play with me? Can you come outside? Ask your mom, can you come outside? And so we played the game. And,
I won the one that you won. I won that days, but then I went into the archives and it really fucked me up. If you like trivia, like timed trivia, you want to feel like you're on a game show, check out Tightrope. It's fun.
And to be clear, she finished the one that I did.
No, I got that one.
I know, but you didn't win it. I'm saying you finished it.
Yeah, I walked across the tightrope.
Well, these are very important details.
Okay. Yes, genius IQ, yes.
Where are you going to be?
I knew as soon as
Let's go to dates.
You're going to be like, I don't like it, I'm uncomfortable. So switch subject. Okay, let's do some dates and then we will do the middle segment and then we'll do some questions. So this weekend, I'm in Fort Collins at the Comedy Fort, but there are only, by the time this comes out, they might all be sold out. 3 of the 5 are sold out. There's only a small handful of tickets left for the 2 late shows. So if you want to go, get them now. I'm in Omaha in October. I'm in Phoenix in October. And then in November, I'm in Providence and Dania Beach. December, I'm in San Antonio. I'm in San Antonio and Austin. You can get tickets at kelseycook.com, and the first half of next year's dates are coming very soon. Very soon. Where are you going to be?
I am going to be in Tampa, and then I'm going to be in Madison and Columbus, Ohio, and Denver, and San Francisco, and Sacramento, and I'm going on a trip, and I'm bringing an apple. And I'm going to go to Salt Lake City, and then I'm going to go to Vegas, and also the same with me. Very soon will I be announcing my 25 dates, and there are a ton of cities coming up.
So many, you guys. And also, like I said, we're going to Dublin, London, and Paris just on a vacation next month. And we would love if you have recommendations. If you want to write into pretendproblemspodcast@gmail.com or leave it in a comment on this YouTube episode, we want to know where we should go.
Yeah, we're going to go to London. We're going to go to France, and I'm going to take off your underpants.
Ooh.
And I'm a child.
And people are vomiting.
I'm a child.
We always have to get in something gross every episode. Hey guys, we're so excited to have Every Plate as a sponsor of this week's episode of Pretend Problems. We sometimes are pretty shocked by how expensive it is to go grocery shopping and try to make a home-cooked meal. Sometimes we get sticker shock looking at the prices. But we know an awesome solution that has your back, and that's Every Plate. Every Plate delivers dependable, affordable, and delicious recipes right to your door, and you can forget that sticker shock. Every Plate meals start at only $2.99 per meal. That makes sense why they are the America's best value meal kit with thousands of great reviews.
I spent $113 today at the grocery store and hardly got anything. So that's pretty insane. Each box contains pre-portioned ingredients and easy-to-follow recipes ready in about 30 minutes. Mm-hmm. You can do what I do. You can put the football game on your computer and put your headphones in and just cook away. And then you're not missing anything. Yeah. Every Plate is all about everyday low prices. Their pre-portioned ingredients mean that you only pay for what you need. No more throwing away half a bin of spinach. Yeah. Seriously, their meals end up being even more affordable than your fast food to go. Everyone complains about food is too expensive, blah, blah, blah. Well, not with Every Plate.
Yeah.
With Every Plate's rotating menu of 26 weekly recipe options, you can always count on simple recipes you'll love. Plus, they're a consistently great value week after week.
Yeah, we made a recipe from them last night, the sesame pork rice bowls with creamy slaw and spicy mayo.
We didn't do shit. I made sesame pork rice bowls while watching football. I just told them, don't try to hop on board on this.
I picked up lunch. Chad made dinner. I did dishes. We have a very nice division of labor in our home.
There's no doubt. She does most of the stuff. I'm just saying I cook this. That's all I'm saying.
That is true. They were incredible. I ate mine so fast. Yeah. It was, I mean, truly tasted better than most things I get from restaurants.
Yeah, and here's what you get, right? Everything is packaged up. So the rice is in a little pouch.
Yeah.
And it's not rice for two things. You don't have to put a chip clip on it.
Yeah.
You're done.
Perfectly
you
portioned.
Put it in there. There are red cabbage and carrot mix, sesame dressing, all these things were in these little packages. Comes with the meat. And just so you know, they send it with these ice packs to make sure that the meat doesn't, spoil or anything like that. There's a ponzu sauce, soy sauce, and sweet Thai chili sauce. And all you have to do is go by the steps. There's 6 steps.
Yeah.
It was so simple. All I'm doing is cutting off the tops of these packages and dumping it in the pork that they also sent me. It was, and honestly, so delicious.
So good. So join Every Plate today and pay only $2.99 per meal on your first box for all box sizes. Get this amazing deal with code PRETEND299 at everyplate.com/pretend299. That's code PRETEND299 at everyplate.com/pretend299. Now back to the show. Okay, so this is titled Middle Segment Suggestion, which I've been telling you guys we love. We love when you send in a suggestion for the middle segment because we start to run out of ideas too. So they say, what did you want to do as a job when you were little and why? Did one of you want to be an archaeologist like Indiana Jones or maybe an astronaut? Would be curious what your young minds thought you might want to do as an adult. What?
Well, my answer is just so me. And it's going to make a lot of people angry.
Oh God, what?
But here's what I wanted to do. I wanted to be a teacher, and the reason is because most of the teachers I had, I was like, they don't fucking know what they're doing.
Oh my God.
Like, here's how you should be doing this to make everyone enjoy it. And so that's why I wanted to be a teacher, because I didn't think the people teaching were doing it correctly.
You have always been you.
That's what I'm saying. That's why I started laughing, because I'm like, well, no one's going to like this answer.
Just a tiny,
Yeah.
tiny you.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Bleach blonde hair. Beautiful smile.
You were an adorable child.
Yeah.
I'm actually surprised. I have never heard you say that. I thought you always wanted to be a comedian.
Well, I did. But there were times where I had two things I wanted to do. I want to be a teacher. Mm-hmm. And then right when I started my junior year until I think I've talked about this before, but I wanted to be a lawyer. I thought that would be really fun, because I was doing mock trials. Mm-hmm. And that was very, very fun.
Yeah.
And then you watch like A Few Good Men.
Yeah.
And you're like, yeah, that's exactly the person I want to be.
Yeah. I wanted to be pretty much every possible job. I kind of like rotated. And so, but when I was like very, very young, I wanted to be a Spice Girl. I think that's what like a lot of little girls wanted to be. Some sort of pop star. And then.
What are the Spice Girls?
Yeah, I thought I wanted to be a gymnast because I was in gymnastics for a long time. I thought I wanted to be a veterinarian because I loved pets. I thought I wanted to be a chef or a baker because I loved food. And then for a long time, the thing I was taking seriously, as some of you know, is I wanted to be a high school math teacher. For the opposite reason that you wanted to be a teacher, because I loved my math teacher so much and I loved math. And got halfway through college pursuing that. Got to Calculus 3, fucking hated my life, hated trying to learn that shit, and switched over to broadcast productions, emphasis in video editing, had to take a public speaking class, and I started turning my public speaking assignments basically into like comedy sketches. And
That's so great.
Thank you. Yeah, it was me. It was like a summer course. It was me and like 14 foreign exchange students from Japan who like English was so their second language. Like really, I so applaud them for doing that course, because I think about if I went to fucking Japan and had to do a public speaking class, oh my God, I would die.
Yeah. Terrifying.
So anyway, but I say this detail to let you know that I was trying to do these comedy sketches. I like came to class in costume one day and like I was just getting a lot of blank stares. My professor laughed very hard, but the other students generally, I don't think understood a ton of English yet. And I was basically bombing, but my professor did pull me aside after class one day and was like, you remind me of Kristen Wiig. You clearly really love doing this. I think you should start trying to do like the open mics or the improv on campus. And then tried an open mic, and 15 years later, here we are.
Yesterday you said something. You said hope. It takes just as much energy to hope as it does to worry or something. And that's like the kind of shit you say all the time. And so I could see you with these foreign exchange students taking your high school math class and just having you go, I know you're in English as a second language, but math is everyone's first language. I could say you saying stuff like that. Can you do me a favor? Can you not smile and look at the camera for a second? Look at the camera without smiling. What does that look like? That looks, like a high school math teacher that got caught hubbing with students.
Oh my God.
That's exactly the look they give. Yeah.
Are you making fun of my haircut?
No.
Okay.
No, I'm saying you're the exact person all the boys would want to hump.
Oh, that's funny.
It was actually a compliment, and here you are.
Well, thank you.
Are you making fun of my hair? Tables have turned in this household. Somebody's being Mr. fucking positive, and somebody else is worrywart. I once heard someone say it takes... Okay.
Anyway, that was a great middle segment question. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks.
We're going to get into some questions now. Remember, it's pretendproblemspodcast@gmail.com if you want to write in. We're also going to be extending this episode onto Patreon. So if you want bonus episodes, it's patreon.com/pretendproblems. So we're going to hop over there afterward. Okay. This is titled Family Pressuring Us to Have Another Child.
I already hate this so much. Who fucking back it up? You have another child.
I know this. And the people are talking about, I think it's older generations are so just like tone deaf with this sort of thing.
Well, and they're old, so they grew up on a farm, and they're like, we had to have 8 kids because you knew 2 of them were going to die in an accident. And I'm not mocking that. I'm just saying like that's kind of how it worked.
Yeah.
And that's also why dads didn't tell their kids they loved them back then, because you could die from getting scratched by a fucking nail.
Oh my God.
Well, I'm being serious.
I know. Dark times. Okay, this says, hi, Kelsey and Chad. I've loved both of your guys' comedy ever since seeing your appearances on Are You Garbage, which I think it would be hilarious if you two went back on there together. That would be fun.
This is a trash relationship.
We are pretty trashy in certain ways. Chad, mixed reviews is one of the best specials I've ever seen. And Kelsey, your story about the ER visit in high school after using the manicure tool on yourself kills me every time I hear it. Thank you. Anyways, on to my question. My wife and I have an almost 2-year-old daughter. The pregnancy was really hard on my wife. She gets bad anxiety / has some PTSD, which she uses weed to alleviate. Obviously, when she got pregnant, she wasn't able to do that to help, so that was a little rough on her. She also developed some sciatica nerve pain that she still struggles with from time to time today. After our daughter was born was when things got really bad, though. She developed really bad postpartum depression to the point that we actually went to the ER about 2 weeks after she gave birth for her because she was scared of what she might do to herself or might just get up and leave us and never come back. She was still always great with her daughter at her time, and I was never worried about her harming her or anything. She ended up going on meds and seeing a therapist for a few months until things got better. Now she's back to just the weed and everything has been great. Now, though, my family constantly asks when we are having another or just straight up tells us it's time for us to have another. Ooh, getting punched. Yeah. My stepmom even said we need to have another one so my daughter has a sibling around for when we eventually die. Neither of our families live near us, though, so we really don't have much help around. Our closest family member is over 3 hours away. We can't just drop our daughter at grandma's house to go get a short break to go to dinner or a movie, and she doesn't go to daycare either, so we don't get that break during the day. And I think that contributed to the postpartum stuff my wife dealt with. How do I get my family to stop pressuring us with this without telling them all the stuff my wife went through? P.S. We also live in the cities, and I could have sworn I've seen you from afar at a grocery store once, Chad, but I wasn't 100% sure. But how do you both feel about strangers saying hi / asking for pics if you get recognized in public like that? Sorry for the long email and hope to see you both perform here sometime. Thanks. Okay. First of all, you can always come say hi if you see us in public and ask for a picture. Happy to do that.
Yeah, I agree. If like you're not doing anything that's you need to focus on.
Yeah.
Like eating.
Well, you can come up to us when we're eating, but you don't like being...
You can come up to her when she's eating. I'm a fucking dog with a bone. No,
yeah.
It doesn't bother me at all. It's very flattering.
It is very flattering. Yeah, we do like it.
And if you saw me from afar, was I stalking someone who parked close to the grocery store? That's a question I have.
Perhaps in a crosswalk.
Yeah.
This is a really great question, and I'm sorry you're dealing with this because this is some bullshit. But I think you can be firm and let them know, like, hey, this is really not your business how we are deciding to, like, go about our family planning and if we want another one or not. And I don't think you don't owe them an explanation. You can decide to share however much you want to, but you certainly don't need to get into, like, your wife's mental health if that's not something she wants to be shared with your family. You can just say it's not for you, and you don't even need to go this far, but it's like that whole thing of like, oh, so there's a sibling around when we eventually die, or so they have a friend. It's just like, I think that's all such bullshit. Like, I think there are people who have siblings that they're not close with all the time. It's like, you can have friends that feel like siblings to you. It's like... Yeah,
I went golfing with a guy today named Sam. And he's not my fucking sister.
Yeah. But he probably feels like a brother to you.
He does. But I have other friends. I mean, that was a bad example because I've known Sam since he was just a wee little child.
Yeah.
And we are kind of like brothers, but, or actually are, not kind of, but, so that's nonsense. I wouldn't give them any details. And if you feel like you need to, my thing would be, hey, there's some things you don't know.
Yeah.
Shut the fuck up.
Yeah. That works too.
I mean, I just be like,
that works too.
Put them in a corner and just say, hey, what you think we're going to, oh my God, I'm fucking so mad for you right now. I'm actually mad. Get out of there. Are 8 billion people on planet Earth.
Yeah.
So you don't need a fucking sibling to have friends. That's the dumbest shit I've ever heard. No wonder she's your stepmom. I'm just teasing.
So funny. I just think you have every right to say whatever you want to say and not say whatever you want to say, but just to make it clear that like it's not happening and that's like the end of the story.
I'm a big fuck off guy. It ruffles feathers, but it's imagine saying we don't want to with 7 exclamation points. It's kind of like fuck off.
Yeah. True.
Yeah.
Okay. And keep us posted if you want.
Also, when I said no wonder she's your stepmom, I don't even know what that meant.
I know. I was like, my stepmom listens to this podcast and we both like her.
Oh, yeah. That's right. But when I said that, I think I was trying to make a point in my head and then as it came out, it didn't make any sense.
Oh, okay. Oh.
There you go.
Okay. So this is titled Wedding Upcoming Help. They say, hi, Chad and Kelsey. I love your podcast. And as a fellow Minnesotan, I'm in Apple Valley. It's so cool to have 2 such wonderful comedians here. Now then, on to the meat of the situation. My fiance and I just got engaged last weekend.
Congratulations.
Hey, congratulations. He totally shocked me. I thought it would be a few more years before proposal. We are so excited to get married, but holy cow, weddings are expensive and planning them is stressful. Do you guys have any tips on places we can cut corners for a budget wedding or tips on how to manage the stress of it all? Thanks so much, Grace. You can use my name. Grace, first of all, big congrats, like we said. This is awesome. There are so many articles done on this now because of so many women like you and like how I felt going into my first wedding of like...
You were married before?
Were you just waiting? Just waiting to say that. Mm-hmm. Where you can Google like top 10 tips for having a wedding on a budget that's beautiful or whatever. And there are so many great tips out there. I know one of the biggest ones is to have your wedding on like a not expensive day. So if you have it on a Thursday or on a Sunday, you are likely going to get a much cheaper rate with vendors or the venue than you would if you had it on a Friday or Saturday.
Can I hop in?
Absolutely.
I like a Thursday here because you go Thursday, then you go Friday brunch, open gifts, and then you have all Friday to handle your business and have an extra party. And then Saturday, everybody can cool out, and then Sunday, fly home.
I love it. I think sometimes you have to be aware that if you are trying to cut corners, you might get some pushback from people and you just have to kind of be like, listen, we're the ones paying for the wedding. Because some people, if you do a Thursday wedding, are going to be like, well, I have to get more work off, blah, blah, blah. But I think ultimately, like you said, people are going to be stoked that it's like a long weekend, like a vacation weekend,
absolutely.
Especially if they have to travel, all that stuff.
Also, not only are you going to save money on the venue, more people that are going to eat your food aren't going to be able to come. They're going to make an excuse and they're going to be like, well, I can't get off. It's like, well, fucking good. And you know who else you don't have to invite? Stepmoms that get in your business about having kids. There we go. I knew I'd bring it around.
You found it. There it is.
Good about it.
I would say one thing that should not be cut corners on is food. I feel like people walk away from weddings and if the food was really shitty and like not consideration wasn't put into it, I feel like that kind of bums people out because they've maybe traveled for it or spent a lot of money to get there. And they want to feel like, you know what, even if they didn't like the music, even if they didn't like the ceremony, their bellies are full and they had a good meal. that's, I think, a good thing to put money into. But things like fucking wedding videographers, that shit can be so expensive. And I didn't have one at my first wedding, and I asked friends who did, and they were like, yeah, I mean, it is nice. We have it. We can like watch it on our anniversary, but would I do it again? I don't know. So that's a very personal choice, but that I know is one way you can save money is like, Jesus fucking Christ, that stuff is so expensive.
Yeah. And according to the commercials during football games, The Weeknd filmed his latest music video on an iPhone. Mm-hmm. It's true.
Get your guests to be getting
That would
videos.
be kind of a cool thing anyways. Like have your guests take some videos and then have like a Dropbox folder that everyone can put them in. And then you can go through and kind of do behind the scenes editing yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm going to tell you that food, I don't know what you meant by that, but I'm not here to sit down and have a 5-course meal. Well, I've already sat down and watched someone get married, which I know that sounds shitty, but it's like you're sitting for a while. And then I don't really want to sit for that much longer.
I don't mean a 5-course meal. I just mean like the quality of the food. I would just go with a place that like, the food is going to be good. Because you can usually have like a trial meal, like try the food. But like the wedding we went to in Indiana, I really liked that food. It wasn't a 5-course. It's like, it was a barbecue setup of like, you go through.
Yeah, I kind of like that. I kind of like you dish up your own stuff.
Oh, for
Whether
sure.
it's going to be a taco setup, like picture Chipotle, but everything's in its own bin, and you get to do whatever you want on the way through.
Totally.
I love that shit.
Yeah, no.
That I'm willing to get into.
That's what I mean. Yeah. It's like, that is, I think, all great. I just mean, have the food be yummy, good food. Food that you're excited about too. Because it's your wedding day. You also want it to be a great meal.
That is one thing you do have to remember. This, as much as people want to tell you how to do your wedding, it is 100% your deal.
It's your
So if you only want to have fucking unicorn lollipops and pixie sticks for your wedding, you get to do that because it is your day. You're sharing the day with one other person, and quite frankly, I mean, you kind of still get 75% of the call. Because little boys don't dream of their wedding day when they're boys.
Yeah.
They dream of winning the World Series or some shit like that. For the most, I think, from what I've heard, a lot of women dream about when they're little girls, dream about their wedding day. And so you get to do that.
Yeah.
I was going to say one more thing, but I cannot. Yeah. Oh, I think it was about videographer.
Oh, okay.
It's everyone's just going to have the greatest time ever. Yeah. And I would say giant glow sticks. Do it.
Oh my God. We had so much fun. The wedding we just went to in Indiana. Giant glow sticks. I can't imagine they were that expensive.
Yeah, they were foam, and they looked like you got them probably at a dollar store, and maybe even like $5 for $1 or something.
Yeah, they were awesome.
But they
were so much fun.
They were so fantastic. My cousin Renee brought them and dominated when she started handing them out.
So smart.
Yeah.
And wedding dress wise, it's like you should absolutely feel beautiful, but just do keep in mind you are wearing that for like 6 hours one time in your life.
It's coming off.
It's coming off, girl.
You know that's right.
Don't break the bank on a wedding dress. That's my personal opinion. Do what you want. I don't know where you want to allocate your budget for the wedding, but it will then just be in your closet or be something you sell. It's just not. I don't think you need to buy into this idea of like you need to spend $5,000 on a wedding dress, because you can get pulled into that world of like, oh God, am I cheap if I'm wearing a whatever amount dress? And you're not. So just don't get pressured. Try to remember, like, sit down with your fiance, and you should each make, I think, a list of like, what are the top 3 things that are most important to you? Like, where do you want your money to go? Get on the same page.
It's a party. It's a celebration of love. Mm-hmm. And the next day, the marriage starts.
Yeah.
And so that is what you're going to want to put most of your focus into anyways. So it's a fun celebration, but then the main focus is on, happiness and the marriage and all that stuff.
Yeah. There's a great, I don't know if it's a quote, but a stat that like the 3 days in your life where everybody who's important to you are there are I forget the first one, but your wedding day and then your funeral. And you aren't really there for your funeral. So I think also remembering that this is so special that you both have the most important people in your life together, and do whatever you can to make it sentimental. Like the things that are free, but that you could remember and take into your marriage, I think are important. Guest books, shit like that, pictures like Polaroids, just all that stuff I think is cool.
Yeah, that's nice.
Yeah. Well, congrats again. Keep us posted. Okay, this one is titled Question. They say, hello. The two of you have stated that you want some listener questions, so here goes. My wife and I have been married for 24 years and have had 3 fights in that amount of time.
How many years?
24.
Okay.
Wild. My question to the two of you is, do you want relationship advice?
Yes.
We would be happy to help you along on your journey. Also, we will see you in Columbus in October. So if you want to wait until then and ask, we will be at the Funny Bone.
Oh, I love it because we had 3 fights yesterday.
We did not.
We did not.
We were fight free. But yeah, honestly, I am fascinated by couples like you.
24 years.
I was asking this question on stage for a while. Maybe I'll bring it back. But sometimes I was asking, who here is in a relationship where you don't fight? Because that's just really mind-blowing to me. And I think maybe some people have different definitions of fights. Like when you say you've had 3 fights, are you talking like
Fist?
big, big explosive fights? Are you talking about truly like a small, she was annoyed that your clothes were on the floor? Like, what are you defining as a fight? But either way, if in 24 years you've had 3 fights,
Yeah.
that's wild to me. And
That's incredible.
we're totally open to hearing what your relationship advice is.
Yeah, please come by and say hello when I'm in Columbus because I'd like to ask you several of these questions.
Yeah, but can you please write back in? I think I can say your name because you didn't say I couldn't. It's Ken and Leslie. Please write back in and give us your advice, because I'm sure our listeners who, whether you're in a relationship or not, would be interested to hear.
Yeah.
Because that's wild. All right, guys, we are going to hop on to Patreon and keep talking about some of the things we talked about this episode and more. So patreon.com/pretendproblems. We'll see you over there. And we will also talk to you next week.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.